What's up, everyone? Welcome to Chad's home. Today I'm sitting with Boyo. What's up, dude?
Hello, how's it going?
It's going well. Thank you for being here, my
Yeah,
friend.
thanks for having me.
Much appreciated.
Oh, yeah.
I wanted to kick off with the new EP, You Don't See Me.
Yes.
It's your third EP of 2019, right?
I don't even know, man. I don't
I
know.
feel like
Probably. Yeah.
I feel like you're the most prolific guy like in music. It's insane. I feel like you're just always putting out music.
Yeah, I mean, like I when I'm not touring, there's a lot of downtime, like just figuring out logistics and chilling out, and I have pretty bad insomnia, so it's like a lot of just like not sleeping and I need to focus my energy somewhere. So if I don't create, I feel kind of like a weird loser.
Yeah.
So I have to. It's nice to hear that, but like in my mind, I don't feel prolific. I feel like there's so much stuff that doesn't even come out that's like weird sounding, like chant music or
Dang.
like punk. I don't know, dude. Like I make so much weird music that wouldn't make sense under Boyo or wouldn't make sense in the world, probably. I don't know. So yeah, I just try to make as much as possible.
Yeah. Do you put out anything like of that weird kind of experimental, like under a different name or?
Well, I have this other name, Friendly Ghost, that I put out one record, but it just sounds like Boyo stuff.
Got
It's
it.
not really like that different. I was putting out it was between two bigger releases, and I was just so hungry to put this record out, and I was like, all right, I'll just put it under a different name.
Got it.
But no, there's like weird bits and bops of stuff, like I don't know if we'll put out little tour documentaries, little things, then if you'll catch like a little scene in like a documentary, like I don't know, we have a little tour doc from like a year or two ago where one of our members, Nick, who's like a live member of our band, is like skateboarding, and we have like a little skate part in it, and I'll sneak like my little
Nice.
prog punk song in there. But
That's dope.
nobody I don't think would want to hear it. I don't know. It's weird. It's messed up.
I
Yeah.
heard it. That's cool. And then so is like writing your favorite thing to do?
Yeah,
Like,
I
there's
mean,
nothing-
I like it a lot. I mean, like writing anything. Like if I can't, even if it's like music, even if I'm tapped out and I'm like, I have no melodies, I have no ideas. Like I always like writing, just writing. You know, like I love screenwriting. I love just like free form, whatever, poetry. I just hate calling it that because I don't feel like I have like whatever I write that's of poetic structure doesn't have like the merit to be called poetry. But like I don't know, I love any kind of writing, and I used to write scripts when I was a kid, so it's like I just get kind of obsessive. But like music is just what I feel like I'm best at, so like it's what happens most naturally and
Nice.
most kind of consistently.
Nice.
Yeah.
And does that allow you to stay pretty fresh as far as like, is I Told You the most recent song that you wrote? Like, do you write, release, or is it kind of like write, sit on it for a while, release something you wrote a while ago, or like, how does that work?
I mean, it used to be like, it doesn't work that way when you're on like a label. Like, and I actually I used to be really resentful of that process of being like, okay, I can't just write and release, I can't just, make something and immediately just put it out into the world. And I thought that was to the detriment of the art and of the process. But now, I've realized I'm working with another engineer that's like takes my, he's taking I have this record that's going to come out very soon, and he's taking like my home recording stems, like which are like the individual tracks, like the drums, the bass, and he's, pimping them out and making them sound better. And
Nice.
It's the first time I've done that. So it's like putting a little more intention and thought into it rather than just going like, and rushing this like ember of an idea out into the world, I guess.
Got it.
If that makes any sense.
Yeah, no, for sure. And the label you're putting out is Park the Van, right?
Yeah, and they're the best.
That's
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah. And I've always worked with great labels too. It's not a knock to any, like, cause like Danger Collective, who is the label that I've put out my like previous catalog on, are my best friends. They're like my high school best friends, and they always do great work. Like they put out like that Surf Curse record that's there, and they're amazing. So I wouldn't be here without them, and they I still work with them on like my past catalog and like, figuring out how to like re-release certain things and do stuff. And then
Nice.
Park the Van, it just helps me with, the newer records and the newer music. And cause it's just different. It's like
Yeah.
guitar music versus, I don't know. I went through a weird phase of making like synth pop.
Right.
And I'm not really into that anymore. Yeah.
Right,
I
yeah.
don't know.
So is this the first project out on Park the Van?
The EP is, and then there's a record that's being mixed by this guy Chad Copeland, he did like, this band Broncho. They're really cool. They're on Park the Van, and he's also done like, he did that record Carrie and Lowell, the Sufjan Stevens record, and
Nice.
he's just a really great engineer. And thanks to Park the Van, like they've kind of just been like, no, like give this guy a chance. Don't just innately like, in your gut rush these mixes and go like, no, this is the drum sound. Like give this, let this guy mull over the mixes a little bit.
Got it.
Which is new.
Yeah. And then are these the songs, a few of them, going to make the album? On the
The EP, no. I never really like repeat. It's like I just have too many songs.
Right.
You know what I mean? I don't
Right.
think I can't justify it.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it just keeps getting better. I told you, it's like
Thank you,
on
man.
repeat. It's so good. And then Habits is another one I wanted to talk about. It's beautiful, and I've said it before a lot, but I feel like the path of an artist is very difficult and very hard, and people look at you crazy from family, friends, whatever, and there's so many lows and a lot of highs, but staying on that path is just, I don't know, it's something very noble, something I very much respect and
Thank
love, and which is why we're doing this, but
Yeah.
is because you kind of tackled that in the song a little bit, right?
Right.
Like, what has been kind of the hardest part about this road that you're on?
So many. I mean, yeah. I don't know how much time we have. Like, it's like it's. There's just a lot of like. It's a lot of like you said. You put it very well. It's a lot of ups and downs, and it's a lot of high highs and low lows. So you'll
Right.
like have moments of being. You're playing to a bunch of people, and you're like, "This is crazy. This is surreal." You're getting this reciprocal energy that is intense and you never thought you'd feel. And then in a second, then you're like back in your bed and it's silent.
Right.
And then you have no noise for a long period of time, and there might not be movement, and there might not be momentum. And it's a weird kind of beast, like just being part of like entertainment in general. Like I grew up around a dad who was like a comedy writer, and just people that are creatives, and I'm watching them like wait for the phone to ring for
Right.
calls and stuff.
Right.
And so like that's where like this, I think the like what looks like it me being prolific is just me trying to like fill not the silences, because like I always have something lined up and a tour and a cool thing, but it's like there's still like will be a month in between where it's like I have to fill. I'll go insane if I wait, if I'm just rehearsing for this tour and it's just this monolithic thought of like, all right, I'm a touring musician and I have to just rehearse for the tour. It's just these 10 songs and that's my life. I'll go crazy.
Yeah.
I have to make a
Yeah.
bunch of other stuff. You know what I mean? And I can't wait for the phone to ring for the next tour or for a show in the interim, or for, if an engineer doesn't get back to me tomorrow, I'll just make a song in the interim. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like filling that
hear
void
you.
with creative space, if that
Yeah.
makes any sense.
Yeah, that's good. I feel like that's a pretty good habit instead of
Trying,
like filling it with something else.
Yeah, because it's just like it can get lonely and weird, and then all of a sudden in one day, like 100 people hit you up and be like, like come
Right.
here, and you're like, oh my god, I'm so important and great, and then the next day you're nobody,
Right.
you feel like left out. So it's such a weird. It's not like a consistent job where you show up and you got like your, and I respect people that can, like I romanticize almost like. It's like you just show up and you do it, and
Yeah.
and it's like, and it's meditative. Like I used to just like bust tables. That's how I wrote my first, like the first Boyo record was just like melodies in my head, bussing tables and kind of doing like seemingly menial tasks. But there was also something really meditative and nice about doing something where you show up every day and you're just like, you have a set task too.
Best.
It's really dope too. So I don't know. I miss that weirdly.
Oh, yeah.
It's a head trip. I don't think binarily life is I don't know. I made it all meta and weird, but I don't know.
No,
I don't know.
love
I don't
that.
know if life has to be. One day maybe I'll go back and maybe I'll go on a weed farm and trim weed, and maybe that'll help me write. I don't know. I don't think the creative journey has to be this solely like, pretentious, solely creative, isolated thing. You can. I think. I don't know. I went on a tangent, but whatever.
No, I love that. I love that. Because yeah, a lot of my artist friends, like one of my really good buddies, for the longest time, he was making music from a dark place, and like when he was in a dark place,
Right.
and realized like that's not a necessity. That's not like
No.
a prerequisite to making music, and he started making this cool, like great music in a better place in his life. And so that's cool that that's like something on your mind.
And that's
as well.
dope that your friend like got to figure that out. Like he was
Yeah.
just like, one doesn't have to equal the other, because
Right.
we grew up also embracing like the idea of like rock and roll cliches, you know what I mean? Like getting messed up on tour, you know what I mean? Like
Right.
that's like also like an idea. Like I'm like growing up, like I'm only 23, but I'm like getting to like I'm getting the idea setting into my heart and soul where it's like, because I've had medical stuff where doctors have been like, you can't get messed up every day, you know what I mean? And I've
Right.
had like wake up calls, and it's interesting looking at like tour life and going like, you can tour in a sustainable way, you can do this life
Right.
in a sustainable way. It doesn't have to come from this like dark, like emo auteur. You don't have to be that guy.
Yeah.
You can live a life and have a great time, and it can
Right.
be beautiful, and you can still make like challenging shit,
Right.
I think.
Right.
I don't know. I think because we just grew up watching these documentaries and these things, and
Right.
it's always this like guy who's just like so tortured and he can't even
Right.
like stand, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But it's like, those cliches get boring.
Yeah, no, it could be much more positive for sure.
Yeah.
I agree. Yeah,
Hopefully.
yeah.
I'm learning and figuring it out,
Keep me posted. Keep me
Yeah,
posted.
I'll keep a diary. Yeah.
So when you have so many songs, is it difficult to kind of pare them down, choose 5 for an EP or 10, 12 for an album? And who kind of helps you out with that? Is that where like Park the Van will come in and help out?
I mean, it's actually easier, I think, because it's like I just like set a vibe. I like if you have a bunch of songs and like they all, there's like 5 guitar songs that feel a little bit sinister or something, or like a little bit there's something depressing but hopeful, and I don't know. And then there's like a weird outlier, like there'll be a song with like a synth and you're just like, whoa, that does not work there. It starts to become like really apparent. You're like, get that song the fuck out of that group, you know what I mean? And then you're just like and Park the Van has been like hands-on in great ways where like they let me choose the group of songs, but then they'll be like, this song is very special, so like give this song care, like let's really spend time mixing this, where I would be like, first mix done, first thought, best thought, put it out in the world, because that's how I always would do. Like most of the songs that you've heard that I've made are like the first mixes or the first
Got it.
pass,
Yeah.
which is not always the best idea.
Right. Do you think that's the biggest difference with like the new music to the old, is a little bit more time, a little bit more care spent on each of them? And now that's more guitar driven.
I think like the EP is still very like, the EP was very like an inherent, like I just sat down and was writing these guitar parts, and it was kind of like, oh, I can still play guitar, that's cool, and I can still kind of write these kind of angular, strokesy, fun guitar parts that I enjoy playing. But this record that's going to come out is just a little more, I think the songs are just a little more thought out, and it's a little less like verse, chorus, verse. They're a little more, it's a little different. Hopefully it's noticeable, but it's not like too noticeable where you're like sitting in a car and you're like, oh, they added like a B section or something. You just, hopefully you feel it and you're listening to it, and it doesn't like make you feel the same, I don't know, set of wobbly emotions that all the other songs make you feel, or it doesn't make you feel nothing. Hopefully,
Right.
I don't know, hopefully these songs, I don't know, evoke something different than the other ones. That's the whole goal with working with an engineer, with laboring over them more.
Definitely. That's cool.
Yeah.
And then I want to talk about your origins a little bit. Was Bobby T? Bobby T was the first band that you
Yes.
started. That was like your first venture into
Yeah,
music.
yeah.
And was because being in like a garage rock band, you find yourself in interesting situations. I read in an interview that you played at like a senior citizens home or something
Oh
with
yeah.
Bobby T. Um, did so going through the trenches of just like starting an indie garage rock band, like when you came into Boyo, did you have to restart and like go back to playing like crazy little places, or were you already at like another level since you had some experience?
I mean, I got really lucky because like with the Bobby T stuff, like that's how I met a lot of people. So like I met a lot of really wonderful people in Los Angeles that were in music in the same way I was. It wasn't like I met like Mr. Big Shot with the money bags. You know,
Right.
I met like I just got to meet like other sweet kids that are doing music and that were just like, hey, play this show, play this show. So by the time I was kind of like, I don't really know if I want to make like garage rock and like like I don't want us all to like take off our shirts and crowd surf and do this shit anymore. You know what I mean? This is like in high school. It's just like, God, come on, like it's getting silly. And so it's like I wanted to kind of start over, and I was going to college. I had like a little bit of a network of just friends that I could just hit up and go like. They all had new bands too, so everybody was like doing new, cooler stuff. So I'm like, what are you doing? And they're like, what are you doing? And we're kind of all peering into each other's little creative lives and inviting each other to play stuff, and kind of those DIY venues that we came up playing either had been shut down or reopened or had new addresses and or were trying to be revived. So we still had places to kind of play and get our footing again. So with Boyo, it didn't feel like a complete restart. It felt like kind of like a jolt, like a jolt to the heart or something,
Right.
and like, but without the same ethos of like garage.
Right.
Rock.
Where do you remember the first Boyle show?
Yeah. I mean, we weren't called like it was actually it's very comical because we weren't called. My plan wasn't to like change the name or anything. I was just gonna kind of like ease into like this new sound and this new vibe, and we played this show at, and also we weren't like it wasn't like we had like a bunch of albums worth of garage rock kind of BS that we just shelved. My friends from high school, we just like recorded, and we were like, ugh, this is bad. And then I kind of assembled a new band, and we were still kind of going by Bobby T and the Slackers, and our friends in the band Girl Pool invited us to play with them at this place called the Che Cafe in San Diego.
Yeah.
And so, and we played there before, and we went to play, and we showed up, and this ska band called the Slackers. They were from the '90s. They were like a bunch of dudes, like just in fedoras and stuff. And they had hit me up a bunch of times on email, and I was probably being a dick, and I was just like I was like cocky and in my late teens, and he was hitting me up a bunch, just being like, you can't use the name and the Slackers because it's like fucking up on our song kick. Like it's saying you're playing the shows we're playing, and I was like, screw, like go fuck off. I was like, but just not. I wasn't being very nice in my responses, and so then we played this show, and it was a great show, and it was lit. It was awesome. We played a really great set of new songs. It was the first time we played any of the Boyo songs, and people were very receptive. We felt like we were like being shepherded everywhere. It was like an interview with the San Diego paper, and then we got paid, and someone was like, "Are you Bobby T?" and they paid us money, and then this other guy was like, "Are you Bobby T?" and I was like, "Yes," and he's like, "You got served," and he just served me this like packet of legal documents that were like, you can't use the name and the Slackers
No
anymore.
way.
And it was kind of BS. It wasn't
Right.
legit. It was just like, like how on YouTube, if you have like a similar, like a word that is similar, the algorithm will suggest something else.
Right.
So it was just a bunch of pictures of like YouTube suggestions and stuff. But I was like, you know what? If he's going out of his way to like send a homie to like San Diego to try to serve me, like I'm not gonna poke the dragon anymore, the fedora dragon. So yeah, so I was like, I was terrified. So I was like, no, sir, we are changing the name. Yeah.
Nice, nice, nice. Are you touring with the Slackers anytime soon? You guys bringing them out? Open?
Oh yeah,
Open for
them?
Boyo?
No. It's funny. We've played some venues though where like it's like venues with multiple rooms that are kind of for different vibes. Like sometimes we'll unfortunately get booked like at a House of Blues somewhere like in the middle of nowhere, and we'll see like they're like a poster like, oh, the Slackers didn't come through. I'm like, no fucking way, dude.
That's hilarious.
The fuck on.
That's hilarious.
But you know what? God bless them.
Right. And then I know you mentioned in other stuff that you're also a fan of hip hop, right?
A huge fan.
Yeah. Have you started like producing hip hop, or do you like make beats or anything?
I used to. I just don't think I was very good. I don't think I had the. I think I had like if I had the unlimited money of someone at a label to clear crazy ass samples, you know what I mean? Like if I could just like sample clearances weren't a problem, and I could just dig and go crazy with some weird kind of esoteric, but kind of probably not esoteric soul records that real crate diggers and hip hop heads would probably know and be like, you're an idiot. I would probably make okay beats, but now I'm blown away. Like I'll listen to some really great beat makers and I'll be like, that is actually really creative, and there's been a really cool resurgence of like interesting, like, because I love that like older boom bappy kind of like not cheesy late 80s boom bap, but like like the mid 90s kind of I'm trying to think of a good example. I don't know, like that New York kind of sludgy, like Nas, Wu-Tang, like it sounds like it's kind of like it's kind of clipping or something, it sounds like it's distorted. And that's kind of came back a little, like with that Joey Badass, like the Pro Era and the Flapper Zombies and stuff. And there's like really great producers like that are doing that. And I'm like, fuck, like I was like, if they exist, like I would have to like really go back to like school, you know what I mean? Like I would have to like learn again how to produce, and like Ableton, like they use different DAWs and stuff. Yeah, Pro Tools is like not the way to do it for hip hop. I don't think.
I hear you. Is there anything you're listening to right now that you're just like obsessed with?
Man, like I mean, I get so tired of indie rock. I get so tired of shit that sounds like what I'm into, like make and stuff. Like it just gets so boring, and like I'm just like I can't listen to another like sad dude with a guitar, you know what I mean? Like I'm just like, and so like I'll listen to like the new Freddie Gibbs record is crazy. The new Earl sweatshirt thing is crazy. That thing is, and his last one was amazing. His last one I was just getting over listening to for like a year and a half.
Some rap songs.
That was the one where it was kind of like just so disjointed but really perfect. And, and I don't know. See, those beats were the kind of beats where I was like, I wish I even understood how to make these beats. Like I don't understand it. And and like when Kanye was kind of losing his dome a little bit before he went all like gospel, and he did like that Pusha T record that was like really incredible. Like that was just like an incredible record. I just like listen to all that stuff, and then I'll cycle back to like indie rock and all that stuff, but then I'm like, I don't know. Like I need a reprieve. I need like a little break, you know, just something different. And also I think that like rapping to me is way more impressive than like being an amazing guitarist or something. I don't know why. I just like being able to lyrically do like somersaults like that. I don't know. It's crazier to me than like some dude just like playing scales on a guitar. I don't know. It just blows my mind.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's really cool. And then, you had mentioned that you wrote like scripts when you were a kid and stuff. And then are you still writing? Like, are you writing a script or anything?
Yeah.
Nice.
I'm working on a script. I always work on scripts just for when it's like super late at night and I like can't come up with like a fucking song, dude. And I'm just like, and I'm like losing my mind, and I'm just like, I love movies. I'm super obsessed with like A24, like that film company that does, they're
great.
They just do great stuff, and yeah, so I'll write a bunch of like it's not like great stuff. Like in high school I went to a really interesting kind of like hippie-ish high school where we had like an elective that was screenwriting, and we had a really cool teacher that kind of like was hardcore, and he would make us deliver pages of scripts. And so I can write pages, but they're just not great. Like I'll just write, I'll watch a movie and get inspired and kind of copy the vibe of a movie. But yeah, I don't know. It's nothing. Hopefully one day I'll sit down and be like, yo, I have a great story to tell. But right now it'll just be like couple pages a night of like some dialogue or some bullshit. You know what I mean? It's not like a full movie or whatever.
Got it.
Yeah.
You're an LA native, right?
Yes, sir.
Did you see Once Upon a Time in Hollywood?
Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was fun. That was really fun.
Yeah.
That was a lot of fun. I saw it twice. My second time seeing it was like where it all like gelled.
Right.
First time I was like, when is the Tarantino-ness gonna happen? You know what I mean? Like, when is the action gonna happen? Right. But then everything, I don't know. I realized it's all in the build-up and whatever. I'm just, I was being impatient. But yeah, that's a fun movie.
Yeah, it's a good one for sure.
It's a great movie. Yeah.
Was there anything else like upcoming that you're really looking forward to besides like putting out this record, and like do you have tours in the works and all that?
Yeah, tours in the works, nothing to like announce officially, but just like stoked on life and music and just like that's basically
awesome.
it. Yeah, nothing crazy to promote. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, man.
Love it, dude. Any like shout outs or any bands you're listening to, anything to throw out there before we sign off?
Yeah, my friend Gabe has a really cool band called Honey Oat, which is awesome. And I'm trying to think of anything else. Oh yeah, I'm excited to see that movie Uncut Gems. Is another
yes,
movie.
100%.
So yeah, it's another, and that's all I can think of.
Nice.
Really. Yeah.
Shout out to Adam Sandler.
Yeah, Adam Sandler.
Can't wait.
Softy Brothers, dude. Yeah.
Dude.
Yeah.
It's gonna be nuts. Sweet. Well, thank you so much for being here, man.
Yeah,
it means a lot.
A
We'll get into some music right now, so stay tuned. But yeah, thank you, Boyo.
Yeah, man. How's it going? I'm Boyo. This is called Where Have All My Friends Gone? Waste all my days fighting my place.
I should